Imagine the moment. The world is asleep. Financial markets in Asia are just opening. The air over the Middle East is quiet. And then radar systems detect something. Missiles. Long-range projectiles rising into the night sky, their trails cutting through darkness like burning lines across history. Within seconds, air defense systems activate. Sirens erupt in cities. Phones buzz with emergency alerts. Military command centers light up with red warning screens. This is no longer shadow conflict. This is direct war. For years, tensions between Israel and Iran have played out indirectly through cyber operations, intelligence missions, and regional proxies. But direct confrontation changes everything. Because direct war removes ambiguity. There are no denials, no plausible distance, no diplomatic masking. And in that moment, global markets do what they always do during uncertainty. They panic. Oil futures spike instantly. Gold rises. Stock markets drop before sunrise. Airlines reroute flights. Insurance companies trigger emergency assessments. News channels switch to continuous coverage. But here's what most people don't realize. Modern wars are not isolated explosions. They are system shocks. The Middle East sits at the heart of global energy supply, and energy is the bloodstream of the global economy. If that artery tightens, the whole body reacts. Now imagine the psychological impact. Governments begin high-level meetings. Defense ministers consult military chiefs. Embassies activate evacuation protocols. Intelligence agencies scramble to assess scale. Is this a single strike or the beginning of something much larger? History teaches us something uncomfortable. Most large wars began with leaders believing escalation could be controlled. The first night of conflict is always filled with uncertainty, and uncertainty is the most dangerous fuel.
In the opening phase, strategy matters more than emotion. Israel's military doctrine prioritizes rapid, targeted strikes. The goal would likely be to degrade missile launch capabilities, military command structures, and air defenses. Speed would be critical. Precision would be critical. Iran, however, possesses significant missile capacity and regional reach. Retaliation could include ballistic missile strikes, drone swarms, cyber operations targeting infrastructure, and activation of allied groups across the region. And here is where escalation risk multiplies, because attacks might not stay confined to two territories. Shipping lanes in the Persian Gulf could become targets. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow waterway through which roughly 1/5 of the world's oil passes, becomes strategically vital. Even partial disruption could send oil prices soaring dramatically. Now imagine fuel doubling in cost globally. Transportation costs surge, food logistics strain, manufacturing slows. Energy insecurity is not abstract. It affects electricity, heating, transportation, and food production. And while missiles dominate headlines, cyber warfare operates quietly. Banks, power grids, communication systems. Modern militaries don't just fight on land and air. They fight in code, in data, and in infrastructure. And cyber retaliation can ripple across continents within seconds. The battlefield today is not defined by borders. It is defined by connectivity.
Now comes the strategic chessboard. Israel has powerful allies. Iran has strategic partnerships and regional influence. If one major power moves militarily, even defensively, other nations reassess instantly. Naval fleets may deploy to protect trade routes. Air defense systems may activate in neighboring countries. Sanctions could escalate dramatically. Diplomatic lines become strained. Emergency sessions at international organizations are called. But the most dangerous element is perception. If one side perceives external intervention as escalation, they may respond preemptively.
And that is how conflicts expand beyond original intentions. Even without nuclear weapons being used, the mere presence of nuclear capability changes global tension. Markets behave differently under nuclear shadow. Military decisions are made more cautiously, but also more urgently. Global investors move capital to safer regions. Currency volatility increases. Defense stocks rise. Tourism declines. International student travel drops. Airlines reduce routes. The psychological ripple spreads globally. Because in a nuclear age, even limited wars carry existential fear.
War today doesn't need to reach your city to affect your life. It can reach your wallet first. If oil surges significantly, inflation accelerates. Central banks face impossible choices: raise interest rates to control inflation or lower them to support slowing economies. Supply chains already fragile from previous global disruptions could strain again. Shipping insurance premiums skyrocket in high-risk waters. Companies delay investment decisions. Stock markets may experience sharp volatility. Pension funds feel pressure. Retirement savings fluctuate. Currencies weaken in import-dependent nations. Food-importing countries feel immediate strain. And here is the hidden danger: confidence. Modern economies function on trust. Trust in stability. Trust in supply chains. Trust in predictable trade. War erodes confidence. And once confidence erodes, recovery becomes harder. Even countries geographically distant from conflict would feel economic aftershocks. Energy markets react instantly. Global investors shift capital towards safer assets. Businesses slow hiring and expansion plans. Consumers begin spending more cautiously. Globalization means no economy stands alone. Behind strategy and economics are human lives. Cities under missile alerts. Families sheltering underground. Hospitals preparing for mass casualty scenarios. In prolonged conflict, infrastructure suffers. Water systems, electric grids, medical supply chains. Humanitarian crises can escalate quickly. Refugee movements increase regional strain. Border tensions rise. Aid organizations mobilize. Psychological trauma spreads silently. Children grow up hearing sirens. Families separate under evacuation orders. And even globally, anxiety spreads. Social media amplifies fear. Misinformation circulates rapidly. People refresh news feeds constantly. Modern war is not just physical destruction, it is mental occupation. Stress levels rise. Public trust fluctuates. Societies polarize. Communities feel uncertain about the future. Fear becomes part of daily routine. And when societies polarize, political stability weakens. The final outcome depends on something fragile: restraint. If diplomatic back channels remain open, if international pressure intensifies, if leaders prioritize de-escalation, conflict may remain limited. But if retaliation cycles accelerate, if miscalculations occur, if alliances harden aggressively, the conflict could reshape global order. New alliances form, energy markets reorganize, defense spending surges globally, geopolitical blocs become more rigid. Even if the war ends quickly, its consequences could last years, because wars in the 21st century redefine relationships. They alter trust. They change global trade patterns. They accelerate technological warfare. They shift political narratives. And the deeper truth is this: In a deeply interconnected world, no major conflict is truly regional. It is systemic. The real question is not who would win militarily. It is whether the world system absorbs the shock or fractures under it.